This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com. I'm going to review the most popular 2020 shoot interviews on the Hannibal TV that were also released this year. But first, I did do an interview on here, a fan interactive interview that we also streamed on our The Hannibal TV Facebook page and Great North Wrestling Twitch platforms with Canadian champion, Great North Wrestling, three-time Canadian champion, actually, Jeremy Prophet. Seemed to have good feedback. Dale Wolf, a.k.a. Dusty Wolf, yesterday. Ross Hart the day before. Some very unique interviews for sure. And I've got some big ones in the works for February. And from the UFO world, Nick Pope on Monday, and another guy that's also into UFOs but is an exorcist minister, Bill Bean, on Friday. And tomorrow, my last shoot interview of 2020 will be with Holy Dead, one of the female wrestlers that I've been featuring on this channel. She appeared in an SWE Fury match that I posted, but all year I've been featuring a lot of female wrestlers, and it's actually helped our female viewership on this channel. Went from 4% last year to 11.5% female viewership this year. And I'm going to continue because I think female wrestling is the future of wrestling. But sorry to digress so much. I'm going to get in to the top 5 full shoot interviews on the Hannibal TV of 2020. Honorable mention goes to the mini shoot interview I did with Charlie Haas at the SWE Fury event earlier this month. It's done extremely well. A lot of people are shocked at how he looks. He's lost weight. People lose weight over time. He's actually probably healthier. He's in great shape, still amateur wrestling, and he's back with SWE Fury. He's going to be on the February 6th SWE Fury event in Irving, Texas, or Irvine, and I hope to interview him again there. Matt Jarrett from World Pro Wrestling over in the United Kingdom mentions about the Hannibal TV coming over to the UK once lockdown is over, not only to cover some of his events, but I want to do, I think every day I stay in the United Kingdom, I would like to stay in a different, allegedly haunted place and investigate it and share my findings. And of course, we are streaming this on Facebook at the Hannibal TV. Matt's watching it on there. Oh my God, David Mitchell wants to take us into The Exorcist again. Yes, it's going to be interesting. We have a huge UFO fan base on this channel, and we're also getting into other paranormal stuff. But it's still mainly a combat sports channel. And I'll answer some of your other questions after. But number 5 on the list, and I'll check the list here, is Ken Patera. Ken Patera was my 5th most popular interview of 2020 on the Hannibal TV. I did do a follow-up with him. And yes, some of these don't really get a fair chance because they haven't been up as long as, let's say, the winners was. But I'm going by the most views of videos that were released in 2020. So Ken Patera, number 1, is on there, and all the links to all of these shoots are in the description. Ken Patera is very controversial and outspoken, and I would like to do a part 3 with him in 2021. I certainly don't agree with all of his views, and just like any video on this channel, they're released for entertainment purposes only, and I don't necessarily agree with everything said by guests. Some people I flat out disagree with, and some people I agree with more than others. I do agree that Ken Patera is entertaining and has great accomplishments and is probably still one of the most over heels in the business. He's a true heel for sure. Number 4 was somebody the opposite of Ken Patera, one-man gang, who seems to be more of a baby face in real life than a heel. Very well received interview with him. I think it was 3.5 hours or more long. He was also known as Akeem. Of course, spent time in World Class, Mid-South, WWE, WCW. He was on the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. So the one-man gang was a great, and he'll need a part 2 for sure. And he might even watch this, because I was searching for him for years, and it turns out he'd seen some of my shoot interviews. So glad to talk with him. Hopefully I'll meet him one day. Maybe he'll be maybe he'll show up at an SWE Fury taping one day when they do an event close to the Louisiana border, if I'm there covering it. Who knows? Time will tell. And he also hooked me up with Slick, who, by the way, has actually been in Dallas, but he's going to be back up to his home in Louisville area in January. So sometime in the second half of January, I'm going to do that interview. It will go live first for my members here on the Hannibal TV and Patreons at the Hannibal TV, patreon.com/the Hannibal TV. Then it's, of course, going to be released in full on here. Lots of questions and funny stuff. Double S says the baby doll interview was very good. Charlie Cat wishing me a happy new year. He'd love to see more Q&A interviews regarding indie legends and enhancement talent. We did a great one with Dale Wolf, as I said the other day. There will be more, sure. Shay Harrison wants more on mutilation videos. Of course, that's related to cattle and human mutilations. And Charlie Cat thanks me for taking the request on the Metal Maniac. Hope he'll become a regular. Well, he appeared twice on this channel. Matt Jarrett, again from the UK, from World Pro Wrestling over there, that's had the Von Erichs, I believe, the younger generation of the Von Erichs in his company. Prestbury and Gloucestershire. Prestbury in Gloucestershire is the most haunted village in the UK, not too far from him. Well, if I get down there, I will investigate it. Para Deb says my interviews are awesome. Thanks for the work. I appreciate it. All right. That distracted me. Number 3, sad one, thinking back to it, Road Warrior Animal, which I did shortly before he passed away. I think it is the last shoot interview he ever did. I'm quite certain of that. That was my second shoot interview I did with Animal. And I've looked up to him as a mentor. He did referee one of my matches in Great North Wrestling, Hannibal versus Darko, with Road Warrior Animal referee, if anyone wants to look that up. And as I said, I've done not only the shoot interviews, but I did a backstage interview with him at a PCW Ultra show and numerous conventions. Very good guy. Very good guy. Ron N., you missed the first 2. They're in the description in reverse order. We're going from the bottom to the top. We were on number 3 there, Road Warrior Animal. Number 2 was an interview I really enjoyed. Rob Van Dam, as he likes to do. That was a good one, and I know a lot of people hate Rick Bassman on my channel, but he's the one that hooked me up with Rob Van Dam. So you guys have to keep in mind that even if you dislike him, he has helped get a lot of interviews on here. And he does have some good stories, and there's a lot of people that like him on this channel. And he also has his own channel, Rick Bassman YouTube channel, that people should check out, because there is the Hannibal TV content on there. And I understand Boss Rutan and Diamond Dallas Page, two guys I also interviewed in 2020, courtesy of Rick Bassman. Rick Bassman is going to do an interview with those two guys on Monday. And that's not only going to be streamed on Rick Bassman's channel, it's going to be streamed on my channel, as well as DDP and Boss Rutan's Facebook page. So that should be good. David Mitchell, Road Warriors were his top 3 favorite teams. Without a doubt, as I take a sip of my water, without a doubt, they were my favorite tag team. It is by far my favorite tag team. No, there's not even a close second. Barlight Broker likes to get on at me about lifting. You know what really sucks? I'm not even going to bitch about it, but the gyms here are closed. So I'm doing lots of repetitions with the weights I have here in my house. I'm running outside, flipping my tire, which I brought into my house, hitting it with a sledgehammer. It's really sucks. I miss the gym so much. And it's going to be closed here till January 26th. So Rob Van Dam, since I was distracted, sorry. One thing I will bring up about Rob Van Dam is I think he smoked 6 joints in that interview. That was my first ever 420 interview. And since then, I also did one with Goldilocks, the Rene Dupree Christmas special, and the Candyman, who somehow I always forget his real name of the Candyman. But that was an interesting one. He had a pimp gimmick. But one thing about Rob Van Dam is he got kind of mad at me when I reported that he was formerly with Impact. And he said that wasn't official, and where did I get my information from? But that was done in October, and we're now in December, and I haven't heard of him back appearing for Impact. So whatever was reported from, I believe it was Dave Meltzer was my source, he hasn't appeared back. Maybe he still will in the future. I sincerely, well, he can do whatever he wants. I would like to see him back in PCW. He's a former PCW Ultra champion, and I hope they get back running. And I appreciate the content sharing we've been doing over the past several years. Nautilus Maximus is the whole effing show. Barlight Broker really liked the RVD one. Double S says, I'm training like in Rocky 4. Charlie Cat, watching on Facebook, wants me to see the interview. Wants me to interview the Gambler from WCW and Roadblock. You guys got to send me their information. I have no idea how to contact those guys. I actually forgot all about those guys until you reminded me. And that's no slight against them. I remember them now that you bring them back up. But the Gamblers, not someone that comes on my mind randomly, usually in the year 2020. The number 1 shoot interview was a shoot interview that I didn't even conduct. However, I did help provide the questions for, as it was recorded with Haku, who I don't get along with. I respect him, but I don't get along with him. So there's actually 2 Haku interviews on this channel. One with Jeremy Prophet, one with Laura, the Hannibal TV reporter. And the one from this year was the most viewed full shoot interview on the Hannibal TV this year. So let me list them. From number 1 was Haku. And again, all of the links are in the description and pinned to the top of the comments. Number 2 was Rob Van Dam. Number 3 was Road Warrior Animal. Oh, what a rush! Number 4 was the one-man gang, also known as Akeem. And number 5 was the Olympic strongman himself, Ken Patera, with an honorable mention, the one that actually got the most hits and Chris Jericho shared and was shared everywhere, was with Charlie Haas. And I'll reiterate one more time, that interview was done right after he wrestled. He works with kids. You don't get the kind of work and working with the people he does unless you go through drug testing and so forth. He's actually healthier. If you haven't seen someone in 10 or 15 years, they're going to look different. Someone actually made a comment for my Barry Darso interview with recently, by the way, Demolition Smash, Repo Man, the Blacktop Bully, Crusher Khrushchev, the golfer from WCW, whatever the hell you want to call him. Someone said that's not the real Demolition Smash. Sorry, guys, 30 years have passed. People change. And so many people do for my Val Venus one. And I did a follow-up with him this year. But the first Val Venus one I did, everyone was like, oh, he looks sick. He is a legitimate 6'4", 235, 240 if you see him in person with his abs. And he might not be 280 anymore because he's no longer I don't even know if he even wrestles, but he works. He's an owner of a marijuana place. He's moved on from wrestling. Why would you want to carry all that extra bulk and eat, which costs money for that much, and take the supplements to remain that big when you've moved on? There's life after wrestling. So anyways, I'm just bringing those names up because people look different. They don't stay the same. I'll go into some of your questions. DZZY says the gyms are open there to 50% capacity. Have a good night. Well, prior to this happening, my gym is a very big gym, and it can probably comfortably hold 400, 450, maybe even 500, but I would say 450. Even before lockdown, I don't think I ever saw more than 150 in there. And then when they have been open, they've been limited to 50. Everyone wears masks. They had staff constantly spraying down the machines. There was no threat more than going to the grocery store, and working out is very good for your mental health. And tonight it was 2 degrees, okay? That was warm for me compared to the negative 13 and more than that I'm going to get in January. Plus, when the wind chill happens, the wind chill can be like negative 30 here in Canada, which is just brutal to run in. And anyway, I hate that the gyms are closed. I'll take wearing a mask with an hour time limit over the gyms being closed. It's especially because I love working out, and my friends are there. Dawn the Juicer tips me $5. Hope you're doing well after all those matches. Is it hard to wake up and fall asleep? Or do old injuries just constantly pound on my body? I think I always took care of my body fairly well, and I have been doing DDP yoga. One other thing I really miss at the gym is my gym has a hot tub, a sauna, a steam room, and pool. The hot tub was my big part of my recovery. The sauna is very good for your health, good for your immune system. Same with the steam room. I understand how the steam room and sauna can suck for germs, but now I don't even have access to the hot tub. And even when they were open an hour, the hour counted if you were in the pool. So I haven't even used a hot tub regularly since this lockdown. And I have noticed that slowed my recovery a little bit. I do get regular massages. I do get acupuncture. Overall, I don't have much to complain about considering I amateur wrestled probably 1,000 amateur matches, probably had 50 grappling matches, 3 kickboxing exhibitions. Between getting attacked and fights that I've been in, probably 200 attack situations. Plus all the sports I played. I was a rugby player on a city championship rugby team. I think I'm holding up pretty good. I've never even broken a bone in my life. My worst injury was a torn meniscus in my knee in an amateur wrestling match that I won anyways. So I hope that answers your question. Barlight Broker says One Man Gang was great. Who was my first shoot interview? That really is hard to say, because how I started doing it was people doing like various documentaries, asking me to like interview people for their documentaries because I kind of knew them. So it just kind of happened randomly. And there have been a lot of documentaries and news stories about me and about Great North Wrestling. So I don't think I could really recall back to the first people I interviewed. Sylvain Grenier may have been one of the first. And that would have been back in 2010. But I never really became an interviewer till around 2012. When the initial plan was to start doing shoot DVDs, but that really never came into fruition. And that's a whole story that I'll save for my book, which I'm going to start writing in January. Nate Nizzle, Val was on the gas back then. I don't believe there was any testing for steroids during the Attitude Era. Zer STDDD 7689783332 says his vote is Zach Gowen for the interview of the year. I was surprised at all the heel heat he got. Midnight Stoker is hilarious, or Midnight Smoker. If you think calling Val Vetus Val Penis is funny, you must be on something. I won't lie, I took some THC drops before I started recording this, and I don't find that funny. Ron N, am I getting vaccinated? Yes, for the reason simply being that I want to be able to cross back and forth to the US. There's very, very few people to interview here in Canada relevant to the UFO domain and the wrestling domains that I'm in. They're actually going to get me what the fans want. And the vast majority of my viewers are Americans, and I love America. I hope to one day become a citizen, and I sure as hell hope to reside there sooner or later and at least spend the winters there next year. So anything that will get less crossing the border restrictions on me, I will do. If someone gave me a call and said, hey, Hannibal, you want to take the vaccine right now? You're not going to have to do quarantine or lockdowns anymore. As sad as it is, I wouldn't have a choice because I hate having restrictions. Charlie Cat's favorite interviews on my channel are the Honky Tonk Mans and Shane Douglas. Any dream interviews for 2021? Andrew Battersby says Jesse the Body Ventura. That's the first one that pops into my mind. Tom DeLonge from Blink 182, because he's an expert in the UFO field. Honestly, they're all UFO ones. Luis Elizondo, who used to be head of a program for the United States military investigating UFOs called, I believe, ATIP. He would definitely be up there. I'm very, very interested in the UFO subject, and some of these guys are very tough to get to. I'm really happy I got Nick Pope coming up. David says the mall there took 30 minutes to park. Yeah. Coming from Texas, where everything is a lot more laid back, and David's talking about who's one of the great Texas wrestling fans, and he definitely shares a lot of videos from both SWE Fury and the Hannibal TV, and I believe he's the bell ringer more often than not for SWE Fury. Yeah, I don't even think malls were open here the day after Christmas. We were on lockdown. Online shopping. Ray Rossini, did I ever have interactions with Andrew Tess Martin? Not that I can recall. I may have met him when I was having extra jobs, but I can't really recall. A long story short tips me $2. Can I do a follow-up with Scott Steiner? That has actually been on my mind, yes. That was one of my first shoot interviews, by the way, and everyone asks why the sound was so bad on that one. It's because that was literally, we were doing back when we were planning on doing DVDs, that Scott Steiner drive to the event with me was just going to be like a bonus feature on the event DVD, but the event DVD never really got made. And that was one of the pieces of footage that I threw up on YouTube and ended up getting hundreds of thousands of hits and made me think, hey, maybe I should be a shoot interviewer. Double S says my Honky Tonk Man interview has over 3 million views. Yes, it does. Bean and Mickey Charter, have I seen my possum? She's an Australian bushtail. She likes helicopters and boats. Funny stuff. Come to Illinois. We'd love to have you here. I haven't had any bad experiences in Illinois, but I'm going to move somewhere warm. I'm going to move to Arizona. Biggest Richard Cranium says he loves all of the shoots. Thank you, and I appreciate you being a member on this channel. Eventually, if we can get enough members, imagine what we could do. We could put on entire Great North Wrestling events, live streamed, just for members, with members' contribution and votes for booking events and who they want to see. So it's only $1.99 a month. We got almost 60 million views in 2020 on this channel. We beat Ring of Honor many, many times in viewership, including in December. And this was their month of their WrestleMania pay-per-view. And they're a huge corporation owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, worth a hell of a lot of money. So yeah, I'm proud of that, and I thank all the viewers and supporters. Have I ever talked to Art Bell about UFO topics? I only became interested in this kind of stuff around 2013. Midnight Stoker likes UFO content better than wrestling. I do too. It's very interesting stuff, and I believe way more disclosure is going to happen in 2021. And people that ask me, are you going to watch Raw or SmackDown or all this crap? I would so much rather listen to someone like Nick Pope, who worked as the British Ministry of Defense's lead investigator for UFO files, talk for 3 hours and watch Raw for 3 hours. But mind you, I have a short attention span. As Piper wants to say hi, my parents got her a new Christmas sweater. They gave it to her today. Colonel Quayle says good morning. Midnight Toker, Midnight Smoker believes the Travis Walton story. Well, I do have an interview with him on here that has about 600,000 plus views. Biggest Richard Cranium will want something for chemo. I hope I never have to take chemo. I'm a vampire now. I had a small skin cancer issue this year, which I was told I couldn't get treatment for here in Ontario because of the lockdown. The cancer doctors were on lockdown, so I had to go over to Quebec and pay for the treatment to get it removed. But since then, I had a follow-up with an Ontario specialist, and they said I'm all clear. But I'm not going out in the sun. I'm a true vampire now. Not only by choice, but by necessity. Enzo says, sweet dog. She is. And with all this crap going on in the world, this is as close to a kid as I'm ever going to get, because I'm not going to bring a kid into this world where freedom can just be removed so easily. So thanks a lot. I hope all of you enjoyed all of my shoot interviews this year. Last one tomorrow, 3 p.m., December 31st with Holy Dead, right here on this channel. Thanks again. 2021 is going to be even bigger. I promise. Isn't that right, Piper?
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos,